From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and All India Radio, this is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped, your intercontinental hit of news, features and debate from the quirky world of cricket. I'm Alison Mitchell in London, back at home now, finished my involvement with Wimbledon, enjoyed a couple of firsts, doing some matches on centre court for the television coverage and meeting the likes of Kim Clijsters and Caroline Wozniacki. It was great fun. Also, the match where Stefanos Tsitsipas smacked a ball into the crowd. That was an interesting one as well. All the while, England's men continue to rewrite the rules of Test cricket, and we're going to have time to chat about that this week.
Yes, wonderful to watch the way England are playing their cricket at the moment. Almost as good, I suppose, as Nick Kyrgios, our petulant tennis player who could win the thing. My goodness, it's extraordinary. Anyway, it's stopped raining here in Sydney. We've had about 20 inches of rain in the last couple of days. And we've had more rain in the last 6 months than, Manchester for sure would get in a couple of years. So it's just starting to dry out a little bit, but there's still a lot of people floating around in kayaks and canoes as they struggle to get through the flooded waters on the edge of Sydney. Not very nice. So let's hope we can enjoy some stuff coming from Wimbledon and wherever else.
Hi, I'm Sunil Gupta for All India Radio in New Delhi. And that was, in case you didn't get it, my version of The Sounds of Silence. Because that is what I felt and heard and feel all over our vast land, especially in the cricketing world, our cricketing world, after that, what I'd say, cold-eyed, professional hitman dismantling of the Test World Champions and the Test World Runners-up in the last couple of weeks. It was absolutely mind-boggling, astounding, any adjective you'd like to add to it. And I feel, and I think you'll be very happy to hear this, Jim, that there's going to be a reprise of Bradman's 1948 Invincibles coming up next year against Australia in the Ashes, and I cannot wait to see that.
Well, that's going to be an interesting one to chat about for sure. So it was great to have you with us once again. Jim, hello to you. Breathtaking. I'll add that to your list of adjectives, Sunil, because it's been extraordinary, hasn't it? Another England men's test match, another record-breaking run chase. There was this 10-month wait for England's series decider with India, and it didn't disappoint, did it? Unbeaten centuries, yet again, from Joe Root and Jonny Bairstow. And Brendon McCullum's side chased down that whopping target of 378 with relative ease. Well, not even relative ease, with ease. And it was England's highest successful test run chase ever. So, Jim, what is happening? Because fourth innings run chases in tests are meant to be challenging, particularly when it's of this scale. Yet these runs were just eaten up. Have we seen anything like it in test cricket?
I think you'd have to say statistically, no. We've seen some extraordinary performances, like Australia in 1948 at Leeds, chasing over 400. India chasing 400 in Port of Spain, and Gordon Greenwich scoring that amazing 100 at Lord's, chasing over 300 30 years ago. So back to back, just unbelievable, really. And yes, India did create a chance or two, I suppose, at the back end of that fourth day. And they probably didn't bowl as well as they would have liked, but they were mugged. They're absolutely mugged by Root and Bairstow. Bairstow in both innings played some of the best cricket, best batting, attacking batting, with the judgment of a Bradman, Tendulkar, Lara, whoever you like to name, but it was a judgment of Bairstow, who's in red-hot form. So if England can maintain this heat confidence as they go, and I heard Ben Stokes say something about, would have been interesting chasing 450. They probably would have got those. I mean, they had plenty of time left. The rate of scoring, too, it's been phenomenal. So good on England. And I saw Steve Smith offering a cautionary word about England's chances of doing that against the Australian bowling on a greener pitch. But we'll see. it's taking the game to a place we want it to be taken, because we all love watching a contest. And, wasn't quite a contest in the end, but there you are. It was fabulous to watch.
2 fifth days where effectively the gates have been thrown open, and the England supporters have responded in huge numbers. And always, Sunil, there is big support for India playing in England, and they looked to be in control, didn't they, at the start of the 4th day? So where for you did it go wrong for India, as much as England are just in blistering form and confidence in the way they're going about things, and so much concern in India about this defeat?
Yes, actually, Ali, I think the question is, where did it go right? Not where it went wrong. I think we all know where it went wrong, but where did it go right? And to my mind, actually, it didn't go right from the start. 98 for 5, and then we sort of got to 4-1-6, but it was one of those sort of, harakiri type of things. You go and you hit, and you hope like hell it's going to be able to, go over the ropes or whatever. There's some fabulous shots by Pant. But then 378, as we all know, in the 4th innings, is a tough ask. It is not something like 150. So really, India should have felt that they could manage this particular chase. So they could manage and control that particular chase. But they would have seen Rahul Dravid, who's a student of the game. He must have seen what England did to New Zealand. And he said, you've got to make your plans then. Simple things like changing your line of attack. I remember once in India against Australia, Jim, you might remember this, the captain, I think it was Dhoni, I'm not sure, set an 8-1 field to Zaheer Khan. And Australia actually didn't play well because they were so phased by that particular field. Now you've got to change the rules. When you see that this is happening, then you've got to change the rules.
It is amazing to think, isn't it, that whatever target England might have been set, they had the same mentality to go after it. And interesting to hear what Ben Stokes said, Jim, after the Test match, saying that teams are perhaps better than us, but teams won't be braver than us. Sunil, what about the captaincy of Jasprit Bumrah? Because that was a new thing for him. And last week we heard Chari Sharma, say, well, will it be too much for him? It could be too much for him alongside his bowling duties. What with Rohit Sharma being absent. Did you share any of that concern, and what did you think of his captaincy?
Yes, obviously it was going to be something that's going to be a task that is going to be difficult, no question about it. After all, he's the leader of the attack. But everybody, I think you either take that challenge on or you don't take that challenge on. And he took the challenge on. So you say, okay, fine, now you're going to be the captain. But then tell me, what's the coach there for? Right? We're talking all about how England are winning Test matches. Brendan McCullum is sitting up there. He's done something. Rahul Dravid is sitting over there. What's he doing? Now, he understands. He's seen the game. He's been around. He knows, hey, I've got a new captain. I've got an England team that is really on the boil, right? I know that they're going to come hard at my boys. How do I get them to actually adapt to the situation? How do I get them to do different things? As I told you about the 8-1 field or whatever it might be, how do I get them to change the tactics? So I'm saying those are the things that a coach comes in for. You have got to be a coach who says, listen, I know that these are the things you're going to be, your bowling is going to come first. We need that to come first. And to give him his due, Bumrah bowled well. He bowled well in both innings. But you've got to get the other people to respond. I mean, the spinner did nothing. Jadeja did nothing, absolutely nothing. And you've got to wonder why that is happening.
Well, one record had already been broken at Edgbaston prior to the final day, and that was a rather unwanted one for Stuart Broad, and an unexpected one for India's number 10 batsman, Jasprit Bumrah. On day 2, Broad conceded the most runs in an over in men's Test match history. Bumrah hit 2 sixes and 4 fours, with one of the sixes coming off a no ball, another delivery going for 5 wides. So there were 35 runs off a single over, and it smashed the previous record of 28, which was jointly held by Broad's longtime bowling partner Jimmy Anderson, and before him, South Africa spinner Robin Peterson. So what's it like to get knocked around the ground like that? We think Robin Peterson can tell us. Robin, welcome to Stumped.
Yeah, I can remember it like it was yesterday, actually. The year before, a couple of years prior to that, you have posters of Brian Lara on your wall as a kid, and next thing he's smashing you all over the 100. So
well, I was going to say, I'm not sure whether it's sort of congratulations or commiserations that the record has gone from you.
I tell you what, my cell phone's been blowing up. It still is blowing up today with people messaging me from all over the world. So yeah, I'm glad that one's gone, but it's been 19 years, so it's about time.
A long-standing one. Did you then switch on once you knew this was happening? Did you find a TV? Were you keen to watch it unfold? What did you make of it?
I was actually out with mates on the golf course, and all of a sudden my phone started blowing up and people calling me and, am I watching the cricket? Your record's gone, commiserations and all, the banter that goes along with it, images. So yeah, it was quite a funny day, but not so funny for Stuart Broad. I know the feeling. But yeah, the great man smashed me. So it was unwelcome, but yeah.
So Brian Lara, 2003, Wanderers. I mean, not to get you to relive what happened in your case, but can you relive and then remember how he scored his runs?
I remember a few conversations on the field. I wasn't expecting to bowl. The wicket was flat at the Wanderers. There was no turn. Brian was on over 100. And Graham Smith comes. He was a young captain then. So I think it was his first year of captaincy, and he gave me the ball. He was like, "Yeah, you have a dip here. I don't think he's going to try anything before the close of play." Little did he know who Brian Lara was, and then he kept telling me, "Toss it up, keep tossing it up." And I'm like, "Mate, it's a short boundary at mid wicket at the Wanderers. He's in. He's over 100. There's only one winner here." So in the end, we still have a laugh about it. All learning. I was 22, he was 21. So yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, lots happened since then.
Jim Maxwell in Sydney, Rob, did you feel any better for the fact that it was Lara and not a number 10 or 11 who took you down?
Yeah, actually, I mean, well, in hindsight, I do. Not at the time. But he actually, after the game, he made me sign the ball that got smashed. So he still has it. A couple of years later, I went to the CPL and he walked me through his, with all his memorabilia and the ball sitting proudly on his shelf. So I told him one day you'll have to take that off, mate. And then, 19 years later, it's away. But no, at the time you don't understand it, but it actually made me as a cricketer, to be honest. There were lessons learned, so you got to learn a few harsh lessons early on in your career. But thankfully, I got past that one and was managed to stay in international cricket for a long while. Although I do remember Mark Boucher coming to me after that game at the end of the day on the field, just sort of consoling me and, putting his arm around the shoulder. And because we played domestic cricket together, and he was a little bit older in the international circuit, on the international circuit. So that's what I do remember of that day, is actually Mark Boucher putting his arm around me and sort of consoling the young kid.
Nice.
What about the rest of your teammates? So they give you a bit of a ribbing when you were back in the room?
No, I don't think the culture was quite like that in the dressing room. I think years later when, you're in a pub and you're having a few drinks, people still mention it when you tour the Caribbean, especially when you're in Trinidad. They still give it to you, but yeah, it's all good fun. I had fun with it. It was, I learned a few lessons, but I have fun with it. Record's the record, whether it's bad or unwanted or whatever. It was still a great learning experience, and like I said, my phone's blowing up at the moment, so so it's been a good experience, believe it or not.
Well, that is former South Africa spinner Robin Peterson, and what a good sport he was too. Finally on Stumped, history has been made in New Zealand this week. A deal has been struck which will give female players parity on match fees with male players. New Zealand are the first country in cricket to achieve this. Domestically and internationally, the men and women will now be paid the same amount of money per match, although there is still a big difference in the level of their overall playing contracts. I've been finding out a little bit more about how this deal came about from the Chief Executive of the New Zealand Cricket Players Association, Heath Mills.
It's been a long 18 months, and obviously we're consulting with the players all the time, player surveys, team workshops, player conferences, etc. through that period. And we got around the table physically with New Zealand Cricket and the 6 major associations in November last year. So we're effectively negotiating throughout the summer, and we're pretty delighted to conclude new master agreement that for us principally is awesome, and that involves our whole playing cohort, male and female members, in one agreement last week.
So was there any pushback to this at all? Because there is a finite pool of money, and in order to increase and bring women up to A level, that money's probably got to come from somewhere else. So did you experience any pushback?
Yeah, look, as you all know, that in New Zealand, we are one of the smaller nations. We've got the big three in cricket: Australia, England and India, probably turn over somewhere close to US 500 million a year across their business. New Zealand and the smaller boards are more like US 50 million. So yes, there's always the concern about us needing to be efficient and not having as much money to throw at things as some of the other boards. Was there pushback? No. Look, obviously the negotiation was robust in parts, but in terms of doing the right thing and trying to get a better answer for all our players, male and female, not really. I think where we felt really good is we've done a lot of research, and we brought this model to the table, and New Zealand Cricket and the 6MAs quickly embraced it and said we need to do something here and then, and this model makes a lot of sense. So there's been a good feeling about where we've landed, and to be honest, I've been really heartened with a significant number of our male players who have said, we need to do this. There's you have a moment in time. We always, when we negotiate each collective agreement historically, and I've done this for about 22 years, far too long now, Alison, but we've always talked about legacy with our playing group. What can we achieve in this new collective agreement negotiation that takes the playing group forward to another level? And this time we all recognise that we needed to increase our revenue share with New Zealand Cricket, and that's gone from 26.5% to 29.75% of their revenue, which was good. And we stretched them there, I think. But the playing group recognised this time around we had to take a step forward for our women members. The men were as strong about that as anyone else.
Well, that's Heath Mills, the Chief Executive of the New Zealand Cricket Players Association. Well, that is all we've got time for on this week's Stumped. My thanks to Jim Maxwell and Sunil Gupta, and of course to you for listening. Make sure you join us again next week. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and All India Radio, this is Stumped.